Hi from the
English sisters.
Violetta
And
Yudka.
Yudka. Oh, I was going to say the opposite. I thought you were going to introduce me. Yes, I'm Yudka.
Funny one.
Yeah.
As usual, our podcast, Get Real with the English Sisters, starts with a laugh.
Starts with a laugh.
But today, we're going to talk about the number one reason why you should cry.
Why you should cry and why crying actually can be really helpful.
They used to say you're a crybaby, but that was ages ago, wasn't it?
No, I think
some families still today.
Yeah. I think people still think that crying can be seen as a sign of weakness, as a sign of vulnerability, and crying is still seen as something that,
You should kind of get over.
well, yes, and it's so frustrating, really.
Get over
Yeah,
it.
and and it's really
That's
frustrating.
nasty. People say that, but I've heard
What
it.
you mean? If you're crying, people say get over it.
Well, I've heard. I mean, today I was listening to a podcast, and there was a case. There was this man. There was this man on it who
Really?
was saying the podcast is Dear Therapist, and he was saying how in
I
his
love that
family,
podcast.
in his family, they were. If he showed any emotion, it's like his mum would just say, "Get over." When he explained, I feel as if I can't express myself. She just told him to get over it.
So
Which
can you
was
imagine
so
what that actually does to
damaging.
you? I mean, even though you may not realizing it, if you have been suppressing the emotion to cry is such a natural one that it's so sad that we repress it, because if we think about it, when we first come out into this world, what do as a sign of health, as a sign of being alive?
What, I don't know. We do it as a sign because we get slapped.
I don't know, but that
They
means
don't
that we're
slap you
alive.
anymore, though, do they?
But they still cry.
Yeah, the babies have to cry.
They
You
cry.
have to make them cry
You-
to make sure that they're...
Exactly.
Well,
That's
I
a
think
sign of
that-
life.
Yeah, I think a lot of
don't
modern
cry.
doulas, they don't make them cry.
Well, I don't know about making them cry, but just
I mean,
crying.
they don't slap them anymore like before to make them cry. Poor things.
No, that's such a shock to come into the world like that. Here, have a whacking
cry.
slap. Yeah. But anyway, the concept is that even if a baby isn't slapped, I mean, okay, when they come into the world, if they cry or they don't cry, I think most babies do cry at some point. It's our way of communicating an emotion. It's our first way of communicating. So why would we, as adults, or even at any age, why would we want to block this?
Because,
Why?
unfortunately, in our society, it's still seen as a sign of weakness.
A sign of being a crybaby.
Yes.
A sign of just being part
Even
of your
though
childhood.
people say it doesn't matter anymore, and you can cry, and even when you're at work, it's okay to cry if you're upset. But really, the truth is, it's not really okay to cry. I think even still today.
Definitely. I can agree with you 100%.
Because people still say, "Oh, well."
Oh, he's gone off crying, especially
for men.
him.
I mean, for men, I think it's even worse for them, because for women, they
believe it.
kind of expect women to cry, which isn't very nice either. Cause,
No.
why should women have to cry, kind of thing? But why shouldn't they cry if you're upset?
I
It's
just think
showing you're upset about
women have
something.
just been allowed not to repress that emotion. So in a way, we're more natural beings. And that's why they say women are more intuitive. Women are more in tune with their emotions. A general stereotype is that of the woman that is supposed to be more in tune with her nature somehow. But if we think about it, why is that? It's just this way. Maybe it's just the way. Maybe it's built in our DNA, but maybe it's also the way we've been brought up.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
I
the
think
way
it's
we've been
been
brought
brought
because
up.
boys don't cry. I mean, now in some more modern societies,
They're
are
encouraged to
encouraging.
express
Yes.
all kind of emotions, and these emotions, they're incredible emotions. They're intense. I agree with it, and sometimes you may not want to cry because you may think, I just don't want to go down there. And the more you block yourself, in the end, your brain will start thinking, okay, I won't even bother taking that person down there. I know they're going to suppress it. So maybe over the years, what happens is you won't even feel that instinct to cry. But what we're telling you here today is that we want you to get back in tune with that. And I'm not exactly sure how you can do that, but there are techniques.
I think by, first of all, by acknowledging when you feel like that.
Yes. Oh, you got a little frog.
I have got a frog in my throat.
Yes. By acknowledging that feeling. So that would be...
It's a funny expression, isn't it? A frog in your throat.
It's really weird. Some expressions are just hilarious.
Where do they come from?
I have no idea. I mean, as if we go around eating frogs.
Well, the French.
The French are notorious for the frog legs, but
I mean, I've never eaten a frog.
have you never tried a
Never
frog?
tried. I suppose I should try one, but it seems a bit...
I've never tried one either. Got as far as eating the snails.
They're good. They eat them.
They eat snails here in Italy. I've always thought
No, I
a bit
prefer,
slimy.
I think a frog would be
Better.
for me.
Some people say it
I
might
have
taste
an
like...
aversion to snails.
yeah, you do.
They probably taste a bit like seafood, I imagine.
I have no idea, but I think I don't know. I thought it was supposed to taste like chicken, but anyway, it's a funny thing to say. You've got a frog in your throat. Yes, it is funny. You're going to get me down the rabbit hole now, thinking about the origins of this.
No, I was just curious because I thought I've got a frog in my throat.
Yeah. You don't say that in Italian.
No, what'd you say? A rospo?
No, I don't even think you just ciò qualcosa. You just say I've got something in my throat.
Bit of dust.
Yeah, it's more vague. There's not an amphibian in my throat. Oh, goodness me.
That's a bit of a pattern
Well,
interrupt.
that's a bit of a laugh and a bit of a cry. And
I think that
you know.
that it's okay to laugh as well, because laughing is sort of stigmatized as well.
Well, I think if you're laughing, nobody even says, why are you laughing? Unless you're laughing so much that, But if you're crying, people always seem to, say, well, what happened? Why are you crying? Which is also nice, I guess, because they're showing empathy. But people do.
No, but I think people have to feel as like if they cry, like they have to apologise for it. Oh,
Exactly,
sorry,
yes,
sorry.
yes.
So you have to apologise basically for feeling something, which is very sad, really.
That's why I wanted to discuss this, because we do have many clients in hypnotherapy that do have a problem with suppressed emotions. And I think a lot of people, even if they don't need therapy, this is just general in our general lives. We all tend to suppress emotions because it's inconvenient or because of the culture we're
I think
in.
you've hit it on the nail there, but it's inconvenient.
It's inconvenient, but for who?
It like interrupts your day. You feel as if you're putting other people out when you express your emotions.
Yeah, but-
because like there's a lot of fuss around you. Like if someone if you're in a meeting, you'll start crying.
Yes.
Everyone stops. Everyone says, "How are you? What are you doing? Are you okay?"
Yes.
And so you feel as if all the attention has gone around you, and
It's an intense emotion.
it's an intense thing, and it should be around you, because you're obviously the one that's upset, and you're having a feeling that has to be acknowledged, really. But
It does.
You feel as if you're like putting everyone out the way,
Wouldn't
and
it
people
be
would feel guilty.
I know. Wouldn't it be a wonderful world if you could be in a business meeting, even in a business, and you could just cry. And somebody, and everyone else around you would just be, I get that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that makes you upset, does it? Okay. And you just have a little cry, and I mean, that would be like a wonderful world, wouldn't it? Without no
I
judgment.
can't even believe that could actually happen.
I just hope it does in the future. I just
It
hope.
probably will in the future.
I hope with
Hopefully.
all my heart that
Yeah.
something like this would eventually come out into the world, into the whole wide world. And everyone would just be able to have and just not think anything of it, and then just wipe them away. Just say, yeah, I was upset. That's really upset me, what you've
Because
just said now to
feels
me.
better, doesn't it, when you've had a cry?
Well, crying, if you actually cry, you release endorphins that actually make you feel endorphins, sorry, that actually make you feel better.
It probably is a bit like morphine.
Well, I don't know, but
they're your natural endorphins which help you
Yeah, it
relax
actually here
and make you feel good.
make you feel good. It says that tears contain hormones and endorphins in a response to stress, which aid in regulating emotions. This is why people say they feel relieved after crying. So can you imagine, you feel relieved? Similarly, laughter decreases stress hormones and triggers the release of endorphins, which also creates a feel-good effect. So we know that. We know that we feel good when we laugh, but did we really realise that we feel good after we cry?
I don't think so. I don't think people realise it.
Well, I think everyone says, oh, you'll feel better if you have a good cry, but that's generally...
Not everyone says that.
No?
The nice people say that.
Really?
Yeah, people that are empathetic say that. Other people just say, get on with it, don't cry.
Yeah.
Wipe your tears.
Wipe your tears. I suppose that means stop it now.
Stop it. Or they
Yeah.
offer you a tissue.
Well, isn't that nice if they offer you a tissue?
Well,
Not
it's kind
really.
of saying stop crying, isn't it?
I guess so, yeah.
It's
Unconsciously.
like we have when we do therapy sessions. We know that crying is when they release.
Release.
You release a lot of your blocked emotions when you cry. It's actually a good thing to cry. But I mean, we have tissues available. We don't say, wipe your tears now.
No.
We let people
We
cry.
let them cry. They know they're allowed to cry in that environment. It's a
Sometimes
safe
we
environment.
might feel like you get teary yourself if you've heard
my-
something really sad.
Well, look, you can also cry from happiness. So we know that. You can feel such intense
But
joy.
people don't know. They don't feel these emotions. They don't
That's
feel
why-
intense joy. They don't feel intense sadness.
Like if they see a photograph or something, like the other day when you showed me the photo with your hubby and you were celebrating, I felt such joy when I saw the both of you holding your little sparkly. It was so lovely. And I thought, look at that. And I felt like crying. I still feel like crying now. Because I was allowing the emotions to come through. I was so happy
It's
for
been so many
you.
years, hasn't it?
It's been almost 30 years now you've been together, and I thought, wow, look at that. It was just so lovely, and you had that lovely picture you sent me via WhatsApp, and it was an emotion, and I realised it, and I allowed it to come. But so that's also, a release of this intense emotion. So what are we saying here?
We're saying it's good to cry.
We're definitely saying it's good to cry, and it's good
And
to...
it's good to laugh as well, because I think if you don't allow yourself to cry, you may be laughing, but you're more likely to be laughing at yourself or in jest. You won't be laughing through just sincere happiness or emotions. You won't be able to feel your emotions as fully as you should be able, like what you say, as a baby would feel them. A baby
Yes,
would laugh or
naturally,
cry
naturally.
and that's the way they express themselves. Whereas
Without-
as we grow older, we have all these
Masks
societal, we get suppressed, even though nowadays it is a lot better, but still it's
There's too much suppression.
still too much.
Let's get rid of it. Let's not have to, let's just be able to express ourselves more in our home environment. I mean, it's fundamental. The family, with your relationships,
With your children,
with your
Allow your
kids, adult
to
kids,
to,
small
to
kids.
express themselves as well.
Gosh, it's absolutely fundamental. And then I think if we learn to just be generally more open.
Yeah, I think
I can understand it can be scary, though, for some
being more
people.
open and just saying I'm happier if I'm able to talk about my emotions. I know that maybe respect the other person that's not happy with it, but just say, if it's okay with you, I'm going to talk about my emotions, and I know that it might make you feel a little bit uncomfortable, but you you'll know that you'll be helping me by allowing me to do this.
So you say if you're with a partner who's uncomfortable
Well,
with seeing you cry.
Some people won't be
or-
comfortable with it because they've grown up in an environment, or they've been told that it's not okay to cry. It's not okay to show any sign of weakness or.
Because crying is associated to weakness, which is a shame. That's what we're trying to get rid of, this taboo.
It's not associated to strength.
No, it's not.
Even though it should be, because it's a sign of strength if you can allow yourself to cry in front of people.
Definitely.
It's emotional strength.
It's emotional intelligence at its top level. I think, we should be creating this new kind of...
Connecting as well, isn't it, with people?
It's wonderful because it also allows people to see your emotions, and when they see your emotions, there's those mirror neurons, and they start feeling emotions they might not have known they had either, and they can express them as well. So you're really giving people access to their own emotions too when they see you like that, even though they may not realize it at first. I think all these, there should be this new superhero, hero, we have all this superhero that cries, female, male, they, whatever, but that cries, that would be something that should be seen.
Oh, it cries all the time would be
No, not all the time.
Well, crying through happiness or sadness,
yes,
so that it's not just associated, allowing tears to come.
It's kind of a superpower, and it's not really a superpower because it's within inside all of us to allow ourselves to do this. We have it, but today it has become something that's been hidden away, and so let's get the treasure out. Let's open this hidden gold and let it shine.
It's like gold because when we cry, we're healing ourselves.
We are healing ourselves so much.
And healing others as well because you're allowing them to show their emotions.
Absolutely. And things will come up, if you're listening to this podcast, you might be thinking, when is the last time I cried? And when was the last time I cried?
You said the other day with a photo.
Oh yeah.
Unless you cried since then, I don't know.
Yeah, I can't remember now. And I guess it was probably a while ago.
Well, it wasn't that long ago if it was a photo.
No, that was tears of joy.
Oh, you mean tears of sadness?
Tears of another, yes, express emotion of actual sadness. I think I probably tend to repress them myself.
Do you?
Yeah. I think we all do.
Probably sometimes.
Because you don't want to go down that route.
You kind of get hardened, don't you, as you grow older?
Yeah. Things affect you less, I guess. You have the emotions, but also through life experience.
You get stronger in a way that you don't. You might not get upset by things that would have upset you previously. You have more resilience, so maybe you don't feel the need to cry as much. You have more resources to be able to cope with things.
Yeah.
But then it's always about coping, isn't it? It's because it's seen. Well, when you're sad though, because if you're sad, it means that you're either sad about it because something's happened, or you're in a situation where you've been upset by someone or something. So you kind of feel as if, I don't know, as if I've lost my train of thought. I can't remember. I've gone down into thinking about crying.
Well, it does make you think, doesn't it?
It makes you think that it's not you. That's what I was saying. That you have more resilience, so you might not cry. Because I remember one night when I was young, I was always crying all the time.
Yeah,
Dad said something, I started crying.
Yes, you were.
I
you
was
were very emotional. Yes,
and I would go off and I'd cry.
You'd cry
and
for
anything. He wouldn't
anything.
hardly say anything, the poor man.
No, he would always say you were like butter.
Yeah,
just so delicate that you would melt with anything.
But then as I grew older, And I suppose with the menopause, you cry more when you
They
first,
say
when
that,
you
yeah.
first when it first comes upon you.
Yeah, you feel more emotional.
Yeah, you feel a bit more like you do when you're a teenager, I suppose.
With
You
the
have all these
hormones that
hormones
are-
rushing around, so
Yeah.
hormones affect whether you cry or not. But I just think that in general that
I think it would be just
that
great.
every emotion that you're allowed to express is a good thing.
Yes.
So I can't see why we shouldn't.
Well, every emotion,
encourage
like
it.
some emotions can, like rage, intense anger. We're talking about a different thing here,
Well, yeah.
Obviously. But if we're talking about emotions that are,
About feelings, I'm talking about.
yeah, well, feeling is intense rage as well. That can be a feeling. It's an emotion.
But intense rage should be expressed as well in a productive way.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because
That's a different podcast
that's a
about
different thing.
anger,
But when
yeah.
it's suppressed, it can be very dangerous
Oh,
for the
yes.
person
Oh.
and for the people around them.
Yes.
We know that.
We do, yes. So, yes. So let's think about this crying more and laughing.
I think for men it's very difficult still to be able to express their emotions. I think that's one of the reasons why there is still
Such a big stigma in the workplace, because there's a prevalence of the male in the workplace. Do you think that's why?
No, I just think that men still aren't allowed to cry the same, even though you see them crying a lot more now, which is lovely.
Yeah, and being more vulnerable.
In like say sporting situations, they cry from happiness, sadness. You see a lot of sporty people cry now, which is really a good example for others. But in general, I still think it's harder for men. I do. For women, it's hard as well, because women are
in the professional environment.
Because you're
judged
upon as weak.
Yes.
Or something similar. And it's tricky. It's tricky. It is very tricky.
It is
It's tricky all the way around. So I think let's cry. Allow yourself to cry. And own it. Own the crying.
Own the crying. Be proud of it.
We should have a badge. I cry every now and again.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Wouldn't that be amazing? I do cry.
Yeah.
I am a human. I cry.
Exactly.
I feel emotions. I feel intense emotions. I cry. I laugh. This is me. When I cry, water comes out. It's nothing unusual.
It's okay to cry.
It's definitely
it's healing. We wrote in Stress Free in 3 Minutes. You remember we wrote the healing tears.
Healing tears.
Salty tears that heal.
Salty tears that heal and seal. And they're just a miracle of life. They're a miracle of life. You produce these salty tears like the ocean.
Exactly.
It's just amazing. It's just amazing that you can do this. So enjoy it.
It's a miracle, isn't it?
It's a miracle.
Well, what do you think? Do you cry? Do you allow yourself to cry? Do you find it awkward if someone's crying around you? Let us know. This video is also available as a video, the podcast, and you can also follow us on social media at The English Sisters. See you soon.
Bye-bye. Love.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.